we are going to check with the list of HVDC schemes in India. Uh, so in this slide, you can check mainly, okay, the various HVDC schemes that are there in India. Okay. This slide, it indicates that presently nearly 4,200 megawatt worth of power is being transferred using HVDC schemes. Okay. So what are the various schemes? Mainly Rihan Delhi. Okay. Rihan Delhi point-to-point transmission worth 1000 megawatt plus minus 500 kV over a distance of 910 kilometers, right? So this is one of the schemes. Then the next one very close to us is Chandrapur Padge point-to-point transmission with the 1500 megawatt 500 plus minus 500 kV and over a distance of nearly 800 kilometers, right? The next scheme that is there is again present in the Chandrapur itself. It's a back-to-back connecting with Andhra Pradesh state, Chandrapur Ramagundam, back-to-back link. See here, we must realize that this is point-to-point, one distance, one place to another, and this is back-to-back. Inverter and converter are in the same building. Okay, so Chandrapur Ramagundam, this has got a rating of 1000 megawatt plus minus 500 kV, and you can see that the distance is not specified because both the converter and inverter are in the same building, right? Next is Vindhyachal back-to-back link for bulk power transfer between western region and northern region. As I was telling that two major regions where power exchange has to take place. So 500 watts plus minus 70 kV. And then the oldest one here is a Barsur MP, Barsur in MP and Sileru in AP. So point-to-point transmission 100 megawatt plus minus 100 kV. Okay, so these are the list of schemes, HVDC schemes, which are available in India. Okay, and naturally we would like to see how further many more schemes are coming up, and they are still in the process of development. Even one multi-terminal HVDC link is coming up, connecting three different large power generation sources to the major load center. So that we are going to check at a later stage in this particular chapter. Let us move ahead and have a glimpse of the transmission network. This is I have taken from the Power Grid presentation through the internet, and it indicates that presently the transmission network, how it is consisting of mainly 765 and 400 kV lines. They are distributed over a distance of 1,03,000 okay CKM. So this is basically circuit kilometers. Okay, this is not a distance between the cities directly, rather it is a circuit kilometers. So transmission line network generally runs parallel to the highways. Okay, so most of the time this distance can be simply considered to be the same distance with respect to city, but generally the power plants they are far away from the city. They are in rural places and remote locations. So 1,03,000 circuit kilometers for 765 and 400 kV option. Then secondly, 220 kV transmission lines. Okay, before the advent of 400 kV, okay, when the load was less, the transmission took place at 220 kV. So circuit kilometer distances covered by 220 kV lines, 1,32,000 circuit kilometers. Okay, but broadly we are interested here is this. Okay, HVDC, right? These two are for the HVDC technology. Okay, HVDC bipole plus minus 500 kV, presently 7,500 kilometers circuit kilometers. There are three major schemes that are covering this one. Okay, and then HVDC back to back, there are 7 number of schemes and they transfer a power of 7,005 this 3,000 megawatt. Okay, So this way, the HVDC schemes present transmission network, and there is developments are taking place continuously. Okay, this might have changed to some extent, definitely. Okay, and lastly, what we can see here, these are the FACT devices. These are the FACT devices. Okay, fixed series compensation FSC 22 are there, and then terrestrialized series compensation. Okay, so these FACT devices are there. So you can you have a glimpse of transmission network presently in India, and uh, uh, the major contribution. Okay, here it is by the AC option. Nearly 250,000 circuit kilometers are being covered, and HVDC, of course, it is meant for the long distance transmission, and transmission over distances larger than 800 kilometers or so. Okay, so this is what the idea. Now let us move ahead further, right? And we would like to study what are the different types of HVDC schemes, right? So very important topic: types of HVDC links. Types of HVDC links. Okay. So the very first type, which is not very common nowadays, rather it was common in the earlier days when the power transmission started. The very first power transmission started somewhere in the city of London way back in 1860 or 1880. There the DC transmission at 110 volts. It started at the very beginning. Okay, AC was not there. The very first initial generation, it was through the DC generators only. Later on, it was realized that actually DC generators require a lot of maintenance, and so also the rotating magnetic field induction machines. So AC machines were found to be more robust, maintenance free, and so on, and all that things you know. Okay, so kindly focus your attention on the monopolar link. The very first type of link that we are going to study here is a monopolar link. There are three different types: monopolar, bipolar, and homopolar links. So in the monopolar link, kindly focus your attention onto the diagram. It consists of only single overhead line. It consists of only single overhead line, and that too the polarity of the pole is negative. Negative polarity pole. That means generally for DC you require two polarities. Okay, generally for DC you have one positive pole and then you have a negative polarity, isn't it? So the negative polarity is what is the overhead conductor, and naturally circuit cannot be completed unless you have two different ports connecting it, isn't it? So you can observe here that this one acts as a rectifier and this one acts as an inverter. This one acts as a rectifier, and rectifier naturally it will have positive terminal here, negative here, and inverter positive here, negative here, isn't it? So what happens is that as the AC system, then through the converter transformer, this will be a three-phase bridge converter, okay, acting as a rectifier, and this is a three-phase bridge converter acting as an inverter, and again the second AC system connected through the converter transformer, right? So you can see here that actually the circulation of current from rectifier to inverter is taking place like this, isn't it? So there may be a question in your mind that as the current is flowing from right side to the left hand side, how come power is flowing in the other direction, isn't it? How come power is flowing from the other direction? But if you realize carefully, isn't it, this being a rectifier, right? So it is actually supplying a current from its positive terminal outside, and is being inverter, it is absorbing the current at its positive terminal. So this acts as a load and this acts as a source. This acts as a load. Okay, right hand side converter acts as a load. It is absorbing power. Okay, so this is the basic principle of operation of a monopolar link. But very important thing that you have to realize is that since there is only one overhead conductor, right? The return path, where is the return path? We are not providing a separate conductor here. So the return path here is through the ground. Return path here is through the ground. So this is a very remarkable feature of HVDC scheme, that ground can be used as a return path and has been used earlier. Okay, even today in case of fault or failure of one of the poles, as we have mentioned earlier, regarding the reliability of this particular power system, we have mentioned that in case of failure of one of the transmission lines, positive or negative in HVDC system, ground can act as a return. So there is a mechanism to switch over current from one line to the ground. But the older schemes, that is the monopolar schemes, they use this mechanism full time. Okay, right. So this is what the idea. Okay. Now let us observe what are the highlights of monopolar link. It has only one conductor, and usually that conductor is of negative polarity, and ground is used as a return circuit. Okay. Secondly, it has the advantage of low capital as well as low transmission losses. Low capital and low transmission losses, because there is a single overhead conductor. Okay, that is why the capital cost is low, and so also the transmission losses are low. So naturally there is a question in our mind, what about the transmission losses that are taking place through the ground? So it is observed that actually the ground has a level of moisture, and the flow of current through the ground, it is observed because it is a cooler one, isn't it? So the ground, it has got a moisture and all. So compared to the overhead conductor, we can see that there is a reduction in the transmission losses. Okay, and lastly, the point regarding that current, since it is flowing through the ground. Okay, here one more point is there actually. So third point is regarding current flowing through the ground. As we are making current to flow through the ground, it causes communication interference. That is a bit of a disadvantage with respect to the flow of current through the ground, and it is mainly due to the DC line harmonics. Okay, so flow of current through the ground, it causes communication interference, right? Let us move ahead further. Okay, the next point is that the earth current, as earth current is flowing through the ground surface, it is observed that it produces certain undesirable effect to the nearby elements present near the ground conductor or the flow of passage of ground current. Okay, mainly it leads to the corrosion of metallic objects, okay, in the neighborhood. आसपास में यदि कोई मेटालिक सबस्टेशन है या ऐसा रेलवे ट्रैक्स है या कोई बिल्डिंग या ऐसा कुछ है, okay, which is having some metallic objects, so in that case it will produce, the ground current has a tendency, some electrolytic action takes place, and it has a tendency to corrode metallic objects nearby, right? And lastly, for the monopolar link, the reliability of transmission is least. Okay, because there is only one overhead ground conductor. If it fails, so naturally current part will be broken. Both the currents cannot flow through the ground. It will be short circuit. Only one overhead conductor. If that conductor fails, then the reliability of the transmission is less. And there is always a possibility due to the fault or maybe due to some other reason. Okay, so that's why in comparison to the other types of HVDC links, the monopolar link has a least reliability, and a monopolar is a very primitive type of link. Present day, most of the links are a bipolar in nature. Okay, so we come across the bipolar type of link here. Okay, so very important, bipolar link. Okay, this is most practical type of link. Bipolar link is there, right? And you must thoroughly understand the operation of the bipolar links, isn't it? So naturally, the bipolar link, it has got certain mechanism. You can see on either side you have some AC network, right? Maybe one is a generation center, other is a load center, isn't it? And for bipolar link, we have seen HVDC schematic that actually there are two converters, isn't it? There are two converters. One is this converter 1 and converter 2, right? They provide 12 pulse operation. 12 pulse operation is possible only with two three-phase converters connected in series. Okay, and these converters are supplied from two converter transformer which provide 30-degree phase shift, all that we have seen earlier, isn't it? And since they are connected in series, you can see that the intermediate terminal of these two converters is connected to the ground. Intermediate terminal is connected to the ground. Okay, so naturally the net output DC voltage available from the rectifier end, okay, it will be sum of the output voltages of these two converters, so VD by 2, isn't it? And power will be sent to the inverter end, right? Again, at the inverter end you have got 12 pulse operation. So for 12 pulse operation, the two converters which are actually inverters, okay, the two bridges acting as inverter, they are connected in series, and with again the center tap of this particular interconnecting bridges is connected to the ground, right? And they have their own converter transformers, and then power is transferred from the AC system 1, okay, to AC system 2. So this is how the bipolar DC link works. Then bipolar DC links, naturally by the name itself it indicates that it has two conductors, positive as well as negative. Each terminal has two converters, right? And the junction between the two converters is grounded. That has been seen already, we have mentioned, right? So that is the scenario. Observe carefully that the polarity of conductor here, the first conductor, it is a positive polarity, the second conductor is negative polarity, and in stable condition or normal condition, no current flows through the ground, right? No current through ground. No current through ground, because already the circuit is complete. Already the circuit is complete. Okay, right. Let us move ahead to discuss why bipolar link is preferred further. Okay, you can see that in bipolar link, both the lines, that is positive line as well as negative line, they carry equal current, and hence no current flows through the ground, that I already mentioned. And as there is no current flowing through the ground, there will be no corrosion and communication interference. There will be no corrosion and communication interference. So this is the advantage of bipolar DC link. In stable conditions, the current flowing through the bipolar DC link through the ground is zero. Consequently, you can see that corrosion and communication interference will not be there. Okay, right. Now let us check with the third aspect of it, that is the reliability. The reliability of transmission is good as far as the bipolar DC link is there, because in the event of fault on one of the conductors, the power can be continuously transmitted with earth used as an emergency return path. Okay, so if there is one positive line and one is a negative line, or a positive pole and negative pole for bipolar transmission, if there is a fault on, let us say, positive conductor, okay, then the ground will be used as a return path. So since one of the line has failed, right, so that corresponding line will be eliminated from the circuit, and immediately the current transfer will take place to the ground. So the 12 pulse operation will be shifting towards getting modified, okay, and current will be diverted through the ground. So how the current flows through the ground, and what is the arrangement, and what kind of power system is components are used, how it is done, so earth, electrode, and all that we are going to study at a later stage in this very same chapter, right? The third type of link is a homopolar link, which is again quite very it's not very common in the power system, but this is one of the operating modes that may be used in HVDC scheme as per the requirement. Okay, So the diagram is there on the next page. First of all, we must know homopolar. So it has got two conductors but having the same polarity, usually negative. So overhead conductors are usually preferred with negative polarity because it reduces the coronal losses. Lower coronal losses are there. Okay, lower coronal losses due to negative polarity of the conductors. Lower coronal losses due to negative polarity of the conductors. Right. So let us check with the diagram of the homopolar link. Kindly focus your attention to the diagram for the homopolar link. This is AC system 1 and on the right hand side is the AC system number 2. Isn't it? At first instant it seems that this diagram looks very much similar to the bipolar DC, but we have to be very careful while understanding this. You can see that there are two conductors. One is this overhead conductor and second is this, and both have the negative polarity. Both have the negative polarity. That means both are carrying current in the same direction. Both are carrying current in the same direction here. That is from the inverter towards the rectifier. Both are carrying current in the same direction. So you have to be very careful. You see the polarity. You see the polarity of rectifier and bridges, how they are connected, right? You can observe here that this is a cathode, okay, and this is a cathode. Cathode facing down, isn't it? Here, this bridge cathode is facing down, and here the cathode is facing up. Okay. Consequently, the positive current will be flowing through the ground like this from the rectifier end. So both these rectifiers, that is this one and this one, both of these are supplying current towards this particular terminal. Okay, so you can observe here, right? Rectifier and bridge 1 supplying current like this, bridge 2 supplying current like this. Okay, but in case of bipolar DC link, both were supplying in the same direction at the rectifier end. Okay, so that is not the case here. That is not the case here. So accordingly, while drawing the diagram in the examination or while understanding this concept, you must realize how the converter bridges are oriented. Consequently, both these currents, they get added and you get a net current of twice I. So this is the positive current, positive value. So this is flowing from rectifier to the inverter, and similarly at the inverter end you can see that as the current arrives at this point, it will be leaving like this, so that the circuit is completed. That is why we see that current is returning here, current similarly it is returning here. Okay, so this is how the homopolar link works. Fine. Both the overhead conductors, they are negative polarity, right? And positive current flows through the ground. So that means ground carries current continuously. Ground carries current always. Okay, ground carries current always. You have to understand that, right? So let us come to the third point of discussion. The reliability of homopolar link is good since ground return path is always used. ठीक है, ये हमेशा अवेलेबल है. अगर एक हाथ कंडक्टर टूट भी जाता है तो भी ग्राउंड है, रिलायबिलिटी है. सो नेचुरली सम change in the control strategy can be done, and the power can always be maintained. Ground is always available. Next is that since ground is carrying a large amount of current, that is full load current, consequently the corrosion of metallic objects will be very high. Corrosion of metallic objects in the neighborhood will be high compared to the bipolar link. Okay, so here it is mentioned. Okay, it is high as compared to the bipolar link, right? High as compared to the bipolar link, right? Now the last point is that communication interference. Communication interference is high again due to the. So this one shows correct corrosion, okay, and this shows the communication interference. Okay, so both these are kind of a disadvantages. Okay, disadvantages.